Hi. I'm Desipna Papadopoulos, and as I was preparing this presentation, I thought what I wanted to do is tell a story of how I came to ITP. I came to ITP after graduating in philosophy and doing my master's thesis on the sublime. I applied in my application and said I wanted to come to ITP to make philosophy machines. I'm not sure I knew what that meant. I'm not sure I know what it means now, but ultimately I was really interested in exploring what I thought was a paradigm shift, how technology changes, how we live in the world, our experience of the world. And then, a week before class, I realized I made the best mistake of my life, because I got the hydrocard manual, and I was a philosophy graduate and logic was my worst subject, and I thought I'll cry. I called my mom and said, I think I made a really good mistake. But I was very lucky to have Donna Sullivan as my teacher, and he really opened up a whole different way of looking at the world, and that journey that I was interested in, from thinking to making. How do we embody ideas? How many channels can we use to express and communicate who we are and how we share that experience? So I got a Stairmaster, I hooked it up with Vegas, and I had a great engineer help me actually change the text. So I had my diary running through, and of course it was only powered if you were on the Stairmaster, so you had to kind of work for it. And then Donna Sullivan again introduced me to physical computing and the basic stuff. I know I'm really dating myself here. And I saw this application about infrared communication. And then my life really changed forever, because I realized that there is space. And we can use space in so many different ways. And so I created a pair of jackets that communicated with infrared. Then I started really thinking about how do we use technology? What is the most basic, simple element that we can put together to tell a story? I remade my jackets. With a pig, not a basic stamp. Then I started looking into materials. How do we use conductive materials? How do we use LEDs, again, to tell stories? How do we use technology to be humorous? So I made a pair of sneakers that sounded like high heels. So how technology can subvert our expectation? Walking down the street, you hear this girl behind you wearing high heels. I'm wearing really comfortable sneakers. And then I was also really curious to understand how can we use technology and make references to invoke and provoke a discourse with pre-existing artifacts and a different discourse. In this case, fashion and Rabanne, but with circuit boards and solar panels and RGB LEDs. And then in that same quest of how do we expand that story, because I started more and more realizing what I'm really interested in is not only me telling my own stories, but also creating tools for other people to tell those stories. So this is a project I did with Zach Evelyn, also an alumni, open source, creating tools for wearable computing. And then last year, I went back to a different technology, book. I developed a manual for artisans in Afghanistan, but the process was really the same. How do you help people tell their own story, understand what is the environment that they live in, how do you extract those stories, and what is the framework that we can create to help them communicate ideas, messages, processes, really. Amazing designer, Liza Singer, she did the illustrations. When I was in Afghanistan testing them, I had 4 people saying to me, Desipna, where did you find such an amazing Afghan illustrator? She lives in New Jersey. So how do we tell those stories, and what are those different stories we're telling? This is a project we did very recently with Miriam Songster, another alumni, with the State of Pennsylvania's library, helping them imagine the future of libraries and the use for its citizens and democracy. But ultimately, what we're all doing here, what we're interested in is humans. And as humans, we want to expand our being in the world. That is really a very basic idea. And of course, over time, we do it in different ways. The form factor changes, but our desire remains the same. However, as the form factor changes, so do the capabilities of what you can do with it and the way we perceive the world. So, grounded in my work, and I think grounded in ITP, is this idea of as designers and inventors, trying to create new possibilities, new expressions, new capabilities. So here is a panic button, and this is in 2004 14, it doesn't make sense for a person who in their other wrist is wearing something like that, right? So as designers, we still have a lot to learn and expand and care about the things that we can actually do and intervene in. So I realized actually the story I wanted to tell was how ITP has taught me and helped me make this intervention. And ultimately that the story I wanted to tell, and as I looked through my slides, is that for the past 20 years I've been part of an incredible experiment, and I'm still part of it. But more importantly, and I feel it even more so now, I've been very, very fortunate to be a part of a great family. All the people I mentioned, I started with collaborators, colleagues, and now these are my really, really deep friends. So I'm very grateful for that. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for being here.